A nurse has many duties. Like her neighbors in the jigsaw of her society, she has the usual duties of a citizen. She must earn her living, pay her taxes, keep the law. She also has the two basic duties of her profession. One of these is to serve with all her knowledge and strength and compassion those who need her help. The other is always to learn, always to search for ways of making her profession a greater help to her patients and a deeper satisfaction to herself. For a nurse has her duty to herself also. In theory, her career presents the opportunity and therefore the responsibility to make special use of the gifts which the very nature of her womanhood bestow. Yet what a gap there is between theory and fact. The fact is that although the American public gets some of the best nursing care in the world, it doesn't get as much as it could and should, and it doesn't support the nursing profession as it must. Good work, dedicated work, is being done by thousands of nurses in every field of the profession for long hours each day. But too often, despite their new roles as team leaders, nurses have time to give only essential treatment. The public is puzzled to see them often leaving undone the small but important things which make for comfort and reassurance. Things far more needful of their special skills than paperwork and housekeeping duties. Even the most secure nurses cannot but realize how low salaries, unsatisfactory working conditions, and excessive duties have brought frustration and dissatisfaction to the profession. Nor can they see how to stem the growth of this corrosive discontent. For the truth is that because of the rise in population, of the increased number of old people, and of the trend in nursing techniques, the demand for nursing care is increasing at a high rate. To meet this demand, the profession needs over 50,000 more nurses. These nurses must be able to lead and teach growing numbers of nursing teams and to bear increasing responsibilities. Yet few young people of this caliber are available. And how many of them become nurses depends on how nursing compares to other careers. In terms of salaries and hours without overtime pay, this comparison is discouraging. Compared to a secretary, a social worker, a factory worker, or a school teacher, a nurse gets little pay and her hours are long and inconvenient. Although tangible things are not all nurses seek, there is no doubt that the lack of such rewards contributes to the shortage, the personal worries, the frustration, and to the discontent that multiplies these things. Today, the public and the profession alike are beginning to realize that for patients to get the care they should, nurses' duties, like everyone else's, must have a foundation of rights. Their duties as citizens must be built upon a right to the many benefits most Americans have long enjoyed. Their duties to their patients must be paired with a right to an equal voice with their employer in determining their working conditions. Yet, as nurses learn about their rights, they also learn that these cannot be secured by an individual, only by the collective will of many nurses. expressed in an economic security program.
Therefore, be it resolved that the state nurses...
Such programs are based on principles established nationally by the American Nurses Association. They are voted in at state annual conventions by delegates from every part of the state, representing every association member in every section of the profession. The members choose committees to study their own employment conditions throughout the state and elect nurses from their own occupational groups to represent them in the state sections. These sections determine the statewide minimum employment standards, which are a basic tenet of the program. Thus, through their professional organizations and their elected leaders, nurses create a powerful tool which can give them the strength they need to reach their economic goals. But like all tools, the program serves well only those who use it properly. It must have a specially interested executive secretary who helps publicize the plan, who explains it to citizens in the communities she visits, and who, most important, discusses it with nurses and their employers. So that nurses will have legal protection and the security of a continuous relationship for the future, the executive secretary helps them put their proposals into a contract whenever possible. Then, when they have given the state association written permission to act as their representative with management, she helps them open negotiations with their employers. A tentative contract drawn up at the State Nurses Association headquarters is the needs of both parties. Because the nurses concerned vote among themselves on any changes, it takes time before the contract is at last signed. Contracts are but one of the results of the economic security programs. The executive secretary also keeps private duty registries informed of changes in fees and working conditions. She helps nurses get the state legislation they need and in many other ways reap the benefits of their own collective action. In some states, economic security programs have already convinced the public that nurses, through their professional organization, act responsibly. Elsewhere, are determined to vote in similar programs and to make sure they're properly run. As they leave for their state conventions, these nurses know that no matter how small and powerless they may seem, they are not alone. In their district, in their state, there are many others like them. Together, they're as strong. Together, they can earn what they cannot alone. The right they deserve to fulfill their duties as they should. And thus, in an important way, to fulfill themselves.